Hello everyone, it's Viking again, and with this video I'll be showcasing some more BT17 gameplay. In this case it will just be with black base Dorugoramon. And the main reason I went with black base is because I still really like the fact that you can get piercing quite easily with the Kosuke Tamer, and I like the fact that the Dorumon can also provide basic bounce protection. So if you're going against something like Mirage or Dorugoramon, that set can be pretty much safe, and I still do like it for that. And I think the Dorumons that we have currently now can either give you really good draws or can help you gain memory so you can do even more stuff on your turn, and I just really like that idea. And of course purple base still is pretty solid, but again, in this case I just want to show off some black base. And in my case I go first. I had the BT7 Dorugoramon and I just play AG. I think AG regardless of base is still really good to run because of the fact that if you can get out and your opponent doesn't really have a ball, you can still alliance and still get a ton of checks in, and that's still really strong. And even in black base you still have decent ways to swarm just because of the fact that Dorugo's inherit can be really helpful and can just help you play out buys for the alliance. And now I just start building in the back and going to the X Evo. I don't get the evolution effect, which again at the current moment isn't the biggest deal, but now I just end up going into my Dorugo, and he kind of has to not keep a pie on board just in case, because if he does, obviously I get a free evolution with the Dorugo. In this case he ends up swinging, but he ends up dying, which was kind of likely just because of the fact that it was a rookie. Here I just Hall Slam the new Dorugoramon, and I still really love it because no matter what, if you just Hall Slam it, you still get the draw, which is really effective. And in my case I trash the Dex Dorugoramon, and just in case if he tries to delete it, I at least am able to keep the buy for free, and I still activate the Wind Digivolving. So then of course that way, even if he doesn't have a low quality Digimon, I'm still able to trash a card to sell for later as well. And in this case he ends up going into the Star Deck for Dorugoramon to do some gambling, and in this case it paid off because now he ends up replaying his Ludomon to search out more pieces, and he doesn't find the Ragnarlord, which was kind of unfortunate, but at least he still is able to grab the piece from this, and it ended up being the level 5 that can taunt. And this was a pretty good pick because even if I don't end up swinging on my turn at all, he is able to still taunt me, so that way he can get Splash Ragnar. And the thing is, since I do have a stack in the back, if I do bring it up with the fact that here you can have the Ragnar, it could possibly also blow up my other stack, and obviously I don't want that, so this could definitely just slow me down just a little bit. And since the new Ragnar pieces cost memory to use the hand effects, it can still put me at low memory, and that way I can still do less in my turn. And in this case, the level 5 costs 2 to do it, so he put me at 1, but at least AG still lets me go up to 2 just because he still has bodies. And obviously now I have to swing, and obviously he ends up just doing the Blast DNA, but so it just trashes a security and then tries to delete my guy. But since I have the Dex form in there, he obviously lives. And in this case I actually do forget to trash a card in my hand because I still have to trash it to do its other effect, so obviously that's a slight misplay there. And in this case I just do training, and I can't grab the AG, so I grab another training, and I just Hall Slam my Kosuke here so that way I can have a memory settle for later. And now they pretty much have a ton of memory on their turn because I did end up just Hall Slamming the Kosuke, and with the egg they are able to go to 5. And I think with the help of this, they're pretty much able to kind of go through my entire security because they have a lot of, just DP plus security attack modifiers with the entire bid line from EX6, which is really good. So now he's obviously just paying the memory to, go 1 just to basically whip through my entire security, which is very unfortunate. So, obviously he can't finish game right now, so when it goes over to my turn, I pretty much have to figure out how to not only survive and also just deal a lot of damage to him at the same time. And in this case he ends up just passing turn with his Ludomon to just grab more pieces for later. And I think the Dorugoramon deck can still be pretty decent on the offense as well as defense, just because again you do often also get blocker as well, thanks to the Mind Link tamers you have access to. And I also do gain the memory with AG, so now I'm at Ball, which is still really nice. And in this point, we also do talk about the collision stuff, because in this case, Ragnar is immune to the blocker effect, because collision is applied to the player and not the Digimon, so Ragnar would be unaffected by the blocker stuff. So in this case, he would pretty much just have to block with the Ludomon in this case, which again isn't the biggest deal, because I'm able to hopefully get enough DP to get over it regardless. But in this case, first I Mind Link with my Kosuke first, and then I use Final Supergon Punch, so that way I could potentially get bigger with my big stack here. And I know I do have Reboot in the stack, but again, since the Final Supergon did last until the opponent's turn, I mostly did it so that way I could still be bigger than his guys no matter what, because he would still have to pump the Ragnar load up with a lot of DP. But in this case, I collision with his guy, and I was able to restand since something was deleted. And I did forget to actually do the checks here, which I do end up mentioning. Oh yeah, I was supposed to pierce here, so that's what I end up mentioning later. In this case, I training, and then I end up hard slamming the BT9 Dorumon, which I still think is really solid for the black base, just because of the fact that it trashes the next anti to draw 2, so it's really good because you get the deck stuff and trash, so you can still obviously set up for later on a level 3, which is really good. And I think in this case, I was just looking through my trash just to double check exactly what deck forms I had, and in this case I ended up trashing the deck's Dorugoramon just in case, so that way if he tries to delete my big stack, he kind of just has to worry about that. And the Digi 3 is also still really insane, because it kind of brings the stack down to a lower level, and the fact that the deletion of all lower levels is actually still really good, because if they build wide, you can pretty much delete all the level 3s, level 4s and whatnot. And in this case, with a single stack out, it pretty much just says goodbye to your entire stack if you try to remove it. And he could easily just delete the rookie, because again, he doesn't want to touch the mega stack at the current moment. It's still kind of an oof, just because again, no matter what, he has to deal with the board, and if he tries to do anything, it's a really big worry. And I do have the block inherit set up, because he knows if he swings, I pretty much just have to, I'll block, and then I will go into my decks, because it's whenever it would be deleted, so that counts via battle, which is still really good. And Ragnar does still have access to stuff like the Digivolve, so if he is able to do that, he could just remove my level 6, which again he ends up doing in the end. But that's another good way to deal with it, along with the fact that you could also just try to soul strip the tamer out of the source, if you can also try to do that as well. Again, there are some ways here and there to try to just not trigger a lot of the effects that the deck has, because again, once it's set up, it's really annoying to just try to avoid it while also trying to do damage. And in this case, he ends up just playing another rookie to search out more pieces. He ended up grabbing a Dorugoramon, and now he just stacks up his Ragnar with more effects. And in this case, he did end up again managing to Digivolve my level 6 stack, so now I have to kind of rebuild a little bit more. But when it passes up to my turn, I end up patching again, and so I just force Evo in the back just to in case. And I do realize that I kind of have to stack my tamers in a different way, where for example I have to stack the Kosuke under the Dorumon and the AG under the Dorugray because of the traits and whatnot. So first I just Evo into the Dorugoramon, and since I do have the Kosuke, I can actually trigger the you have to attack with the Digimon, and this kind of does ruin his day, just because of the fact that he has to attack with it immediately, or at least start with his main phase. And in this case, I did have another Mega, so I was able to just go into it immediately and delete his rookie. And since he just has his one stack, if he brings out his other one, that would most likely get deleted, thanks to my decks if I do decide to block. He also does get to pick which star main he triggers first, but at the end of the day, it's just he's in a really tough spot, because if he brings up his rookie in the back, I would still be able to delete it with my dex evolution, because of the fact that it would just delete all lowest levels. And since I would block with my level 6 stack, most likely, you know, his big stack would die because again, that would just need to devolve through on him. So at the end of the day, it's just again really tough. He would lose both stacks, and since I would have a lot of advantages because again I have 2 stuff on board, I have also AG, so on my next one I would be able to alliance and just, you know, do 2 checks. And since I do have the Dorugoramon inherit to play out a 5 cost or less body, that would also really help because that would basically again give me another body, so that way I would be able to swing with that as well. So, you know, that way I would be able to finish the game next turn, which is still really good. I really do like the new Dorugoramon inherit just because it helps you again swarm the board and just gain you a lot of advantage that way. And that's another reason I just like the deck, because it can be really tricky to deal against if they all set up kind of properly. In this case, you know, I was able to get the deck stack, I was able to taunt him and kind of just ruin his board. And I also think that like I kind of messed up because I was again supposed to block and also supposed to play out the body in this case because I had the Dorugoramon inherit, but again I just didn't. I guess I forgot because I was so close to finishing game either way. So again I just mind link AG to my big stack and I just swing for 2 checks, and then I just swing with my Doruga and just go for game. And that was at least a match I had done with the black base Dorugoramon deck, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And I really like the black base, and I can admit the purple base with the Dorugoramon pieces is still really strong just because you can output a lot more damage a lot easier. But I still think black base has some really nice tools just because again, you pretty much get bounce protection, which is really nice, and you get easier access to beater scenes, so that way, you know, you can pretty much still beat over bodies and get damage in. And again, if you guys like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and sub, just so you can, you know, stay tuned to my future videos. Again, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.